anti-nuclear capital of the world. I was an autistic kid. My father was a drafted United States Marine, an incredible man. I come from an incredible family. My uncle stood on Omaha Beach on D-Day. I grew up on a huge ranch out by the lake. He was a beautiful, incredible person. He was at Pendleton, combat ready, and they were human guinea pig. They were marched into the trenches in Nevada. They're called atomic veterans. He nearly died at the blast. Between 1951 and 1968, we had 300 open-air tests. Well, as different scientists started to write about this, Wallace Stegner was at the University of Utah at the time. I got to know him. Edward Abbey was hanging around there. I got to know him. I got to know all these environmentalists, and I was an environmentalist, and it was a passionate, intense subject matter there.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Plumgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. Plumgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. They'll be calling you a radical. May God have mercy on all of your souls.
Nuclear power was evolving. We were promised, oh, this can't happen.
Here we go. I'm sorry.
All right. Are we live? Are we on the air? Anybody there? We've had a horrible disaster with this freaking radio show as of the last things. My email got completely hacked into. My text message got freaking hacked too. There's a lot of haters out there. Trolls. Are we in there, Jimmy?
I believe we are.
Okay. Hey, sorry about that. We got a little bit of delay. And, Jules, let me know, the chat room, if we're not live. Let's get this show on the road. Let's get organized here. But
yeah, we're on.
We have a lot.
Go.
Okay. Thanks, Jimmy. We have a lot to talk about today. Hang in there, you guys. We're organic. Like I say, I'm like a mutated sunflower blowing in the wind. This is the seeds of change. This is the seeds, of trying to overcome the nuclear cartel, trying to save our own lives, save our families' lives, save our children's lives via cancer. This is about surviving cancer. This is about surviving nuclear fallout. This is about fighting back. When I got leukemia, and I was given no chance to live, and I'm right here at the hospital right now. It was so horrible. I got to tell you, I got sick October 13th, 2011. 7 months ranting and raving about Fukushima is going to give it. Then, it bowled over like a truck. When I went in, I was so sick. And the hospital kept sending me home. They couldn't figure out. They finally CAT scanned me just chock full of tumors wrapped around my lower bowel. And ignorant doctors. 12 different doctors. And I'm arguing, telling me it's carcinoid cancer. They biopsied it, said it was so live in my liver. I'm like, no. I read statistical probability platforms through my computer. I was so sick. I was in tremendous pain. I'm a tough guy. I'm a really strong, tough guy. I've never had pain like this. Never. Now I know you go into the hospital, especially when you get cancer in the stomach region. You know, they have a chart in there, you know, because they constantly ask what's your pain level. It goes 1 to 10, and then up above it, it says leukemia pain, whole new stratosphere. Oh boy. I mean, I've had a broken back thing. I'm a very, very tough guy. I mean, I have scar up and down my arm where I sewed my own arm back up. My daughter knows I casted my own leg. I mean, I have scars all over my body. I mean, I lived a very hard, rough life. I used to tell people, oh, my pain gene's gone. I don't even have a pain gene anymore. I used to laugh people emotionally and physically. Boy, did cancer tell me that was not true. So, by knowledge, I knew so much about this disease. I'm like, no, wait a minute. I know leukemia can present tumors. I know that Fukushima is in the atmosphere. I know that I had a predisposition to getting leukemia because of my father. I knew that. He was nuked in the Nevada test site. I'd live in Utah. I knew all of this. So I argued with doctors. I argued with them. Sent me home to die. I mean, I got so malpracticed. They found an ulcer in my stomach, blamed it all on the ulcer, loaded me up on the three-way drag, robbed me on the, you know, by the way, if you ever get an ulcer, there's 2 different prescriptions. One costs $400, the other costs $30 for the same pill. That's the fraud of the big pharma. We all know that fraud. I was losing 7-8 pounds a day. Huntsman Cancer Treatment Center here in Utah, supposedly the best in the world. They're a fraud. Huntsman Chemical, yes. Oh, we research cancer. They spend billions on researching, but they don't research the cause, only the treatment. Why? Because they are the cause. 357 benzene plants. Styrofoam container. Oh, yeah, that's their dime. That's the University of Utah. A fraud. A giant fraud. John Huntsman, a giant fraud. They're a fraud. I went to them. They're still trying to sue me for $1,400 for a phone call. I'm like, sue me, fuckers. Come on, I'd love to get this into a courtroom, into the Queen's Court. Well, here it's the Mormon Church's courtroom. You know, forget about freaking suing anything on anything really ground. Our court system here is a kangaroo court. It is truly a white-collar crime is not only legal, it is encouraged, and they rob little old ladies for a living. And if you don't believe me, look up our last 2 attorney generals. The one sitting, found by our state legislature, found guilty of, through the process, not in a courtroom, found guilty of obstruction of justice. Now, you and I go to prison for a year. No, not him, because we have 2 Americans here. We have the passive hair-sprayed one, and then we have the working class one, which the working class, we are the servants. That's what nuclearism is. Nuclear is the repressor of all time, because it's cancer. It's the air that we breathe. It's the water that we drink. It's the food. It's everywhere and everything. It's the way to control populaces. It's the way to control masses. Has nothing to do with energy anymore. Nothing to do with energy. They know that the nuclear energy was a giant fallacy. It didn't come true. You know, they thought, oh, we'll put a pellet in our car, whatever. Didn't work. It's expensive. It's filthy and it's dirty, but they knew the whole time. Oh, it's nuclear weapons. And who controls the world's nuclear weapons? Controls the world's natural resources, controls the populace. And we don't fight back. But I fought back with my cancer. Oh, did I fight back? I argued with these doctors. There's about 3 or 4 doctors. They don't want to run into me. I told my attorney straight up why I was in critical condition, almost dead. I was in so much pain. I said, they better hope I freaking die, because if I don't, you'll be representing the court, because I'm going to drop them like a bag of fucking dirt. And I'm serious about that. They want to try to fucking kill me. I mean, this fucking asshole come into my room on a Sunday morning. There's nothing wrong with you. Sent me home. Then the other guy called me up and he said, Kevin, you'll be dead by Christmas. 30 days. This is over and over and over. Finally, an old school Vincent Hansen. A true, beautiful soul. My uncle's old business partner. He knew my rants. He said, Kevin, I know all about you. You know, I know we're all down. His brother and father both died of thyroid cancer. Grew up in southern Utah. Hasn't retired because there's no one to fill the void. He listened to me. You know, I was sent home because I didn't have insurance because I had a fall in 2005, broke my back and severed my tongue. That's a whole other dynamic about the illegal workforce in this country. I was a plasterer in those days. I came home from Wall Street. I used to say I'm a very skilled plasterer. Watch my stucco.com videos. Go to stuccodamage.com. That's me. Watch those videos. I go across the wall, blow your mind with a Hawking trial. You know, it was great when I could outwork 5 guys, no problem. You want to exploit hungry brown people from South? You want to dismantle farmers from Mexico? Del Monte wants to move in down there via NAFTA. via the TPP now, dismantle those hungry people, I could outwork 5 of them. But when I had to outwork 10, it got a little complicated. But then when I had to outwork 20 of them, I'm not going to live on freaking chump change. I mean, well, I do now because I'm wiped out and broke. So I had no insurance. I fell off a roof. A guy did not spike a gutter in. I put my elbow on a gutter. I fell 40 feet on concrete. Broke my back, severed my tongue, my pelvis. It was horrible. Broke my whole jaw out, my face. I mean, like I said, you think I was born with the scars across my face? It took years of living in this violent place. It was a horrible gig, but I went in and they treated me like dirt. They treated me like dirt because I didn't have any insurance, but I had money. I had money in the stock market. I've always been a derivative trader, and I was making a really great comeback. In the 90s, I made a lot of money, and I was a Wall Street derivative arbitrage specialist. I came home because of a bunch of death via cancer. 1990, everybody around me, everybody that I was very, very close with, all of a sudden, boom, 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 they were dying of cancer. It was heartbreaking. And then Wall Street started to become corrupt. I realized it wasn't performance-oriented anymore. I was the number one trader on our entire firm, on our platform. Number one. Was I paid the most? No. The boss's pompous-ass son, his pompous-ass grandson, which, by the way, when I left, yeah, you should have seen what I done to that pompous-ass punk. Oh, he's still afraid of me. I fight the bully back, just like I did cancer. So he's like, Kevin, you're right. Leukemia can form in tumors. Now, I don't know what that is. It's pretty rare. I think it happens all the time. I really do, and it's always missed on a college. So he bone marrow biopsied me. Now, I don't know if people know what a bone marrow biopsy is, but they're brutal. They lay you on your back and they go into your spine, into your flat part of your hip bone and dig into your center of your bone marrow and drag it out. It's the only way you can really tell where your situation is. It's still the only test, even as complicated as the tests. I've had a lot of them. They hurt. They keep you awake and then wait for the results. They're so scared. This is life or death. He says, Kevin, you just may have saved your own life. He was very emotional, the next few days. Sent me down to LDS Hospital on 11/11/11. I have a big thing with the number 11. Oh, yeah, Fukushima, 3/11s. I'm like, really? I went in there so critical, and I was in so much pain because these guys did not restrict my diet, and these tumors would wrap around my lower bowel. So they got all, and they says, oh, my God. The doctors down there says, who's been treating you for the last 30 days? I went from 170 to 130 in 3 weeks. It was eating me away so fast. It was so aggressive, so hardcore. They put me in there, stood me up. Went into my jugular vein, put a stent in there. The 3-way, they're called Hickman lines. Goes right to your jugular. It's the biggest breakthrough in cancer treatment. They go into your spine because they know it likes to hide there. They do a lumbar puncture on you. They go into your brain stem. They try to get up behind your eyes. They know these cancer free radicals are so radical and so evil, little-minded things. They hide, they're sneaky, and they're so hardcore aggressive. These are not chronic diseases. These are hardcore diseases. I was in so much pain. I'm like, please. I was critical. I was a red 10. The secretary down says, you're the only red 10 I ever seen walk out of here. I was so sick. I was falling to pieces, so fat, and I was in epic, epic pain. My stomach was cramped, and I was in good shape. You can watch those videos. I was physically very fit, always have been my whole life. I always had a six-pack my whole life, always. The doctor's like, oh, my God, I've never seen a guy with muscles this thick through the stomach. We can't even get through. And I says, yeah, because I've been cramped up for 5. It was pain like you've never heard of pain. I went without a bowel movement for 14 days. I'm in there. I'm like, please, will the chemo eat the tumors? Yeah. Oh, it'll eat them. Will it eat everything else? Just get it in me. Get the chemo in me now, please, please, please. I never thought in my life I'd be begging for chemo. Begging for rat poison in my jugular. I was begging, please, please. I knew it was my only hope. Please get these tumors off my freaking bowel. It was the pain. The pain was overwhelming. I talked to a lot of people about it, in this section. I learned that that's no way to go through life suffering. So I talked to the doctor. I said, if this doesn't work, you need to juice me. You need to euthanasia me somehow. You need to kill me. I told my daughter, get the shotgun out of the car and blow my head off. That's the kind of pain I was in. It was epic. But slowly over time, the chemo did eat those fucking tumors. I'll never forget it when I had my third PET scan, which I don't know if you've ever had a PET scan, but they're bizarro. They put this fluid in you and light you up like a Christmas tree. And put you in this dream state in this dark room for a long time. They're bizarro. I'm sitting right here where they did it, right here. Glassman's Pond. And I'll never forget the doctor on the second one. I was so sick, and he's like, Kevin, we're going to do this. You know, we don't like doing because there's radiation involved. He says, you need to put your mind in the happy place. You dream in the happy place. And I said, that's easy for me right here. 1977, when I was young, this beautiful, amazing town, this was a pond. And I can remember sitting on the freaking banks right here, smoking weed, freaking drinking beer with two girls. And us getting naked and swimming in the pond. That was the city. That was normal behavior. I said, oh, that's, and they laughed. And, you know, I'll never forget the doctor that read the PET scan. He says, wow, I've never seen such a dramatic change from that horrible to this freaking clean. We're still seeing signs of it. They put me through 3 cycles. They wanted 5. My body wouldn't recover. My plate couldn't take me anymore. Then they automatically bone marrow transplant. It's automatic with this disease because they know when it presents in tumors, if it does properly get diagnosed, it's so hardcore radical. They know the survival rate is almost 0. But there was a guy named Brian Morris. I'm going to put him on my show. Had the same thing. He's the only person I've ever heard of in the world who actually had the surgery and is alive and well. He's a lot like me. He's very Milton, Utah. You know, very, you know, not back. Sent him home to die. No bone marrow transplant or anything. He didn't die. He would come into my room and talk to me, pep talk me. You know, I clung on to him. There was a girl named Carla, Kevin and Carla. She was a marathon runner here in Ogden, just run the Ogden Marathon. Beautiful girl. Found one on her breast. It's called Kevin and Carla. The only 2 simultaneously properly diagnosed 2 nouveau tumors that were leukemia. Her and I would go through it together. My lifelong best friend, Paul, got sick in the stomach. Huntsman cut his stomach out. Carla and Paul died last year right now. It was devastating. Our group that was in that hospital, a big group, I'm pretty well the only one left alive. We all got cancer about the same time post-Fukushima. There's no doubt in my mind that it put us over the top as Utahns because we had a predisposition because of the 350 open-air tests in Nevada. You know, everybody's forgot about Dan Wonders in Utah, but plutonium didn't forget. You know, 238, 239, 240. I went through that process, and a lot of my YouTube you know, you can't tell in those YouTube videos, but a lot of those YouTube videos till mid-June of 2012, there's a central line hanging out of my jugular. I kept it covered up. I'm hiking and acting like a person without it. And my doctors they're like, wow. I've never seen anybody with freaking go like this because I made the decision in the hospital. I was going down swinging. I was not going to take a cold call third strike. If this evil fuckers were going to kill me, the nuclear cartel was going to kill me, I was going to be called out on a call third strike or a long fly ball or a ground out. I wasn't going to take a call third strike. I wasn't. And I went down, I'm going to go down swinging. And I was swinging. And I swung for the fences over and over and over and over. I swung for the fences every fucking day. Hardcore. I hiked. I went down to Memory Grove. I meditated. I did things my own way. I invented new different treatment processes down there as far as rehabilitation. The alternative, I love all the people who tell me alternative. I'm the alternative to the alternative to the alternative. I invented an alternative to this disease. The point is, we have to fight back in an intelligent way. Now, I got to mention this. Beautiful Dana Girl's website. This is what investigative journalism looks like. You've got to watch this video, and I'll tag it on the repost of this video when I put this up on YouTube. You've got to see this work he did. As you know, I did February 6th, I did my first video on the WIPP in New Mexico, Carlsbad. Says they're lying. Well, anyway, one of the news stations down there, they've been watching my videos and Dana's videos and calling us conspiracy theorists, which I'm no conspiracy theorist. When it comes to Fukushima, I don't even talk about conspiracy. I just talk about the hard facts. The fact that Gina McCarthy was head of RADNet and they crashed. The fact that there's 3 full court meltdowns, 4, 5, 6, all in trouble, pouring into the city, just facts. I don't even hypothesize how, when, where. I just report the truth and the facts, and then they cover it. There's no conspiracy about it. So they call it conspiracy. So he digs into their experts. You watch this video. Their expert, he puts all the radios, then he digs into this expert is a guy who's made his whole life testing plutonium-238, 239, 240, which is nuclear fallout, on baby beagles, on puppies. This guy is a fucking eugenics mass murderer. He's their expert. That's what we're up against. And that's what real investigative journalism is. It's pretty sad, and I want to dive into this. It's pretty sad that us as a bunch of grassroots freelancers have to be the investigative journalists. I've been an incredible investigative journalist, sources from Japan, from Hong Kong, all over, especially in the early days. I've reported this in an intense radical way because it isn't an intense radical. It's an acute situation, so I report it as an acute. I'm an artist. As an artist, the action has to match the reaction. The reaction has to match the action. I mean, toe-to-toe, face-to-face, blow-to-blow. That's what we're up against. And it's pretty ironic it has to be a bunch of freelance grassrooters. Now, NPR comes out today with an article about, all these freelancers and grassrooters with Geiger counters having to test the fish, doing this all over, and we get slammed, we get back. Now, think about that. All of us doing this for free, citizen journalists, citizen scientists, why? Don't we have the EPA? Don't we pay billions of dollars into the Environmental Protection Agency? Don't we have that agency? Hey, think about that. So we're paying these people the corruption, that's beyond corruption and fraud. That is malice. Gina McCarthy. Now, who's Gina McCarthy? Head of RadNet, Radiation Technical. We spent billions post the 9/11 fear-mongering freaking Dragon Slayer. As the military-industrial complex, the defense, the Dragon Slayer complex robbed us for billions. Foxconn News just fed you, get a gun, buy some gold, and you'll be okay. They deflected you off the reality of the truth, the reality that we stripped away tariffs, the reality that we backed out on antitrust laws. Now think about this, antitrust laws. We have those for a reason, to create competition, to not let 1% societies just suck up whole industries. Think about in the 90s. We took on that piece of shit thief, one of the greatest, probably the greatest corporate thief in U.S. history, Bill Gates. Not my words. Steve Jobs, Anderson, Clark, all of them's words. He robbed Netscape illegally. He robbed WordPerfect. He robbed Novell. He robbed them all. He's a fucking thief and never anything. Weasel little fucking piece of dog shit. Now you think about this. These are the people that own the nuclear. He owns the nuclear plant. They're pro-nuclear. Why? Control freaks. The whole dynamic. We pay into this. We have RadNet, Radiation Technical Network. Oh, we spent billions and billions post 9/11. It was there for years. All of a sudden, it's just taking down. Then, to the situation, Obama's answer, raise the legal limits. When the United States legal limits are already 12 times higher than even Japan's, than Germany's, than France's, than any so-called modern country, which, we use the term of third world countries, underdeveloped. We're a fourth world country, overdeveloped. Overdeveloped is worse than that? Absolutely, it's worse. I mean, we proved that. The capitulation to the 1% of the economy, this is neo-epic feudalism. I love how they deflect with New World Order. That's how the radicals have done this. The savages, the radicals, the Fox News, New World Order, New World. Think about that. They're using the word that is opposite of the reality. This is the old world order. This is a feudal system. Now you think about that. Why did they do that? They were paid to do it. Because they're part of it. Rush Limbaugh is one of the richest men on the face of the earth. I'm sure he's a raving lunatic, liberal to the far left if you got behind, Elton John sang at his wedding. He knows they're laughing all the way to the bank. Fake, all the way, all of them. Now, Glenn Beck, he's just mentally ill, deranged. He's a lot like George W. Bush was. They're just puppets because they find these guys that are in the gutter. Glenn Beck, don't you love all these ex-drug addicts? Hattrick Henry, freaking connecting the dots. The dope made them paranoid schizophrenics, and they always go to the God. It's like the old Cheech and Chong movie. Yeah, man, I used to be all fucked up on the dope. Now I'm all fucked up on the Lord. And they do it abstractly. That's Glenn Beck. That's W. Bush. They're dumb, ignorant, low IQ people with paranoid schizophrenic tendencies. And these guys just play them like the fiddle that they are. But Foxconn and the neo-right and the neo-left, Al Gore, I'm green. I build a house that sucks up $8,000 worth of energy. I try to molest not one, but two separately different massage therapists, tipper divorcing. I mean, right, left, they're frauds. They're playing you like a fiddle. The cancer freaking industry playing you like a fiddle. I mean, I got wiped out and robbed. I walked into Vincent's Hanson and I threw down my stock portfolio. I had $600,000 in there, over $600,000. Made a comeback in the derivative market. I have the ability to pay. And he said, Kevin, I don't care if you have the ability to pay. Now I know you. You know, and he went to work on me. He argued with the pathologist, Silverman, who's supposed to be this great pathologist. He told me I didn't know what I was talking about when that fucker didn't know what he's talking about. In my cancer treatment, I had to teach myself quickly how to be a pathologist. I had to quickly teach myself how to be an oncologist. I quickly had to, quickly, life and death, sweet are the uses of adversity, and I did it. I had to really guard myself inside the hospital. And there's certain doctors who hate my ways down there. I tell them to fuck off. You know, the administration down there got mad at me for videotaping, and I'm like, fuck you. Who the fuck are you? You sure sucked up all my fucking money. I can videotape my own treatment and take photographs of my daughters, and anytime I fuck you, kick me out, fuck you. I don't do it, but the other doctors, the good ones, the real ones, the Danish philosopher ones that really love me and care, well, I listen to every word. I listened to every word. It was a Danish philosophy doctor, both of them, Vincent Hansen, my Danish philosophy bloodlines, Fimbo Peterson. They got what I'm about. They know who I am. They understood my Danish philosophy in medicine, in life. They understood my non-usury philosophy. Usury. People get all wound up, get a gun, buy some gold. These are freaking see the shiny ball deflections. And that's all they are. They understand they can get you on raw emotion. They understand they can dummy down you through the education system. Mission accomplished. But it only works if you allow it to work. I don't even own a television. I don't own a television. I haven't owned a television for years and years. You know, I'll pick up bits and beats of, you know, what these lunatics are up to as far as Fox and CNN, and, you know, they're all the same corporate board members. They own nuclear plants. Is it thinning the herd? Oh, fuck yeah, it's thinning the herd. Think about this John Holdren from the University of California at Berkeley. Eugenics U. Just type in John Holdren. That's the guy who's got given the keys to Fukushima. Oh, he really is a eugenics guy. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Read up on him. This is the guy who's running the science and technology team, the 32 team that was developed inside the Situation Room, as the Navy and the Marines wanted in. As, you know, it was printed recently that USS Reagan was the Lucky Dragon. The Lucky Dragon was the boat that unsuspectingly got caught up in the bikini bombs. That's such a false freaking statement. It had nothing to do with the Lucky Dragon. The Lucky Dragon, that was horrible what happened to those guys on that fishing ship. They didn't know. USS Reagan was sent in there to go to work. They were sent in there to go to work. It wasn't by luck. It wasn't right. They were sent in, and they abused their own soldiers like they always, this complex. I love it. The Fox News wrapped themselves, every one of them beat the drums, the Ted Nugents of the fucking world. Ted Nugent really did dodge the draft because he pissed himself too much. He said he couldn't control his bowels. He shit himself. I want to fight that fucker so bad. I really want to fight him. I'll snap his fucking head. I hate that guy with a passion. Dick Cheney, draft dodger. George Bush, draft dodger. These people, Fox News, every one of them draft dodgers. Every fucking one of them draft dodgers. Wrap themselves up in the flag. Go kill, kill, kill. And then they abuse their very fucking soldiers. White phosphorus sprayed on their own men in Fallujah. What is white phosphorus? What is depleted uranium in bullets? Is they annihilate a culture, a biblical culture, and you wrap yourself up in a flag and say, oh, America, the greatest country in the world. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's the old world order. They say, oh, new world order. That's deflection. And then you go right back to them. There's only one tool to fight back a feudal system, and we've always known it. It's a natural progress for wealth and power to want to funnel up stronger and stronger because they're control freaks. The control freaks are out of fucking control. It's always been that way. In the history of mankind, these are biblical, ancient battles, philosophical, simple battles. I'm an economist. Milton Friedman, a terrorist. Alan Greenspan, a hardcore terrorist. These people created a feudal system. Simple. We have always known there's only one tool to fight back: tariffs. This goes clear back to Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, and I don't care if you believe in Jesus Christ is the Son of God or not the Son of God. He was a real man. He threw the money changers out of the temple. This has nothing to do. This is philosophy. Most atheists love the philosophy of Jesus Christ. He was a real man. He stood for the sick, the hungry, the poor. He was against the feudal system. Economically, we've always known for 1,000-year tariffs is the only answer. Alexander Hamilton knew the Tariff Act of 1789, before the Bill of Rights. They all knew. The New World Order? No, the Old World Order. Walmart, the new East India Company. Oh, Bill Walmart Clinton, an Oxford Rhodes Scholar, Rhodesia. Yeah, that's him. Signed NAFTA. When he ran, called himself the next John Kennedy. Please. John Kennedy would spit in his fucking face. John Kennedy was anti-nuclear. John Kennedy was anti-feudalism. That was the end. Every single one. They love it just the way it is. I love it how you guys, you can't even have a conversation with any of you because you're so indoctrinated left or right. Protectionism is bad. No, protectionism is good. Just like I protected myself fighting cancer. You can't compete with freaking 2 billion people. And that's why and I want to lay out the itinerary. I will be at the Enola Gay Hangar next Tuesday, my radio show live from where this madness started. Everybody knows about the WIPP, Los Alamos. And why is the WIPP getting so stuffed full of hardcore plutonium? Because we didn't build Yucca Mountain. Because we didn't choose space. Because we do what baby boomers do. We just kick the can, push it on to the next generation. Oh, they can handle the debt. They can handle the nuclear fallout. We just thrash the whole fucking country. Leave it to those fuckers to clean up. That's what we do. So everybody knows about it. We know about Oak Ridge, Tennessee, Megan Rice in prison, an 84-year-old nun, for doing nothing. Disallowed all due process, tortured, for calling attention that Y-12 in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, the Manhattan Project, which was supposed to be taken apart by law, international treaties were signed. We are violating the law. They're still making nuclear weapons there. Everybody knows about those. But people don't know about Wendover, Nevada, and Utah, where the test bombs were all mocked up, where it was all done, where Tippett's office was, where the Enola Gay flung at it. That's why I'm going full circle right there. To call attention. I'll show you guys. You guys can watch my YouTube. You don't have to travel, whatever. I'll do it for you. Sit in your basement. Let the NSA look through your computer and tell you, hey, by the way, NSA says you need to vacuum and put some clothes on. It's pretty outrageous. I hear people all the time saying, oh, Kevin, your ways are ready to pull people back. No, my videos are like a blotter test. You see what you want to see. I just tell the truth. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just speak the truth, the reality of the situation in a very concrete way, not abstract, concrete. So I'll go there. Then 2 weeks, my radio show will be live from New York University, Washington Square in Manhattan. Why there? 3 years ago, I was leading up my post-ignorance. My post-ignorance is a socioeconomic movement. It's pure human rights. Pure human rights. I understand. I'm an economist. I was on Wall Street. I was a derivative arbitrage specialist. I taught at the #1 university in maybe the world at one time. Economics and finance. Not now. Captured by the corporations like the rest of them. The young population, those baby wolves born in a cage, they know no better. They don't know how to protest. They don't know how to fight back. They just freaking throw. And they're tired of getting arrested. And they're tired of being surveillance on. I understand that. Look what they did to Occupy. It's sad that the police participate in their own death. The military-industrialized complex, the military, participates in their own death. They stand up for the very people that are killing them. The Uncle Tom media, the Uncle Tom cops, the Uncle Tom military. Read Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom, he went along with his slave. He had a nice slave owner, and they treated him nice. And he said, oh, I'll just play along. But that slave owner died, and he sold him to another one, and the other one beat him to death. About fighting back. Harriet Beecher Stowe was the daughter of one of the richest men on earth. We've always had these philanthropists that stepped away. Patty Hearst, last one. We've seen what they did to her. Mary Lou Whitney. Yeah, Vanderbilt's daughter. the one now, her mom, Peggy Guggenheim. Not now, because you think you're on the winning team. The wealth won't stand up and support because they're going to kill themselves because they're degenerate. They don't get it until they get cancer, and now college says, I'm sorry, there's nothing else we can do. What do you mean there's nothing else we can do? I'm Steve Jobs. I'm one of the richest men in the world. Of course, you fly in 10 more dollars. Okay, we'll fly in 50 more dollars. Sorry, there's nothing we can do. Sorry, there's nothing we transplanted you. We tried everything. Now, unless you're Dick Cheney and you get the freaking heart transplant from an executed Chinese prisoner. Steve Jobs died. And that's what all the oligarchs with this wealth, all your money can another minute buy. This is the cross-cultural dynamic. That's why I went in all Fukushima. I was standing in Washington Square trying to lead up my socioeconomic post-ignorance. Tariffs are the answer. Enforcement of antitrust law. Oh, Bill Gates. Back to Bill Gates. Yeah, there you go. You got away with it. Tariffs. Usury laws. In 1911, March 25th, there were riots, women marching in the streets of Manhattan. The garment district was in Manhattan. They were abusing labor. The girls were marching by the tens of thousands. Young immigrant women. All kinds of young women were being enslaved in the garment district of Manhattan. They were marching and fighting back. The cops were beating them, cracking women's faces, hanging them in jail cells. That's a fact. Just like they did at Occupy, cracked the very people who were trying to support them. Well, what happened? Right there at NYU, Building D, I'll be standing there. Building caught on fire. Those two creeps locked those girls in. Why did they lock them in? Because they didn't want the unions coming in. Back then, and yeah, we know unions got corrupt. Hell yeah, we know it got corrupt. That's not the point. The point is about morality. You have none. You have none. You think you do. You don't have any. You don't have any. This country is morally, I'm not talking sexually. I'm talking respect for other human beings. We have no respect for human life in this country. Zero. None. Those women were locked in. The fire department shows up. Their ladders aren't high enough. They're standing there. And those women got to make their decision. Either I jump to my death or I burn to my death. They watch it. Thud. Thud. The famous reporter, he says, I was so aghast. He says, tears running down my cheek till the 10th one thudded. Then I started to realize I needed to record this in history. The whole country, because this country had a soul. This world had a soul. This country truly had Christian, Muslim, Judaism, Hinduism fundamental foundations. They really did care. They really got it. They freaked out. Al Smith, of all people, Al Smith took the cause on. Those two men, by the way, were prosecuted. Were they found not guilty? Yeah. But here's why they were found not guilty, because there were no laws. Believe it or not, in 1911 in New York City, there was no law. It was legal to lock people in there. It was legal to abuse your labor force. It changed the world. The 40 work week was born. The weekend was born. All these human rights evolved. The greatest event that created the greatest progressive middle class in world human history. Socialist? I don't know if you'd call it socialist. I don't know what you'd call it, but the strongest middle class in the history of mankind, the United States of America in the 1980s. Protectionist? Oh, hell yes. You drove a GM and a Ford because you couldn't get the other ones in here. We weren't about the freaking... It's about slavery. And it's about economics. Hamilton, first Secretary of the Treasury, paid himself 0.0. Paulson robbed the Treasury of $400 billion. As I led the Million Masked Man March, I led that whole march, and it was gigantic. RT themselves ranked it as the number 4 most underreported story in the world. That's me leading the entire march. John Fairhurst, Anthony Fairhurst organized it, asked me to do it, and I did it. We marched down. I spent the whole day, the day before, on November 4th, with all of us. They were watching our websites. They were digging in with Capitol Police, with the White House Police, and I told them just like this. I had long conversations with them. I said, look, we represent you. I don't want you or your wife or your children to die of cancer. Well, I just explained Fukushima to them. Every single one of them had a really horrible story about cancer in their family. By the time I got done talking to them, not only were they not against me, they were taking pictures with me. So here we go with 3 different factions are at the memorial. By the way, I slept on a bench because I learned about activists in Washington, D.C. there. You know, Ralph Nader's people put me up. You can stay with us. Frauds, phonies, had me sleeping on an ice-cold floor while I'm full of cancer. Very sick. I slept on a park bench that night. Little red fox running around the memorial. Little kid carrying around the little red fox right behind me as I led. There's 3 factions fighting. The anarchists are fighting with the anonymous people, but we galvanized on one thing. I let out a cry at the memorial. Fuck all you fuckers fighting. I'm going to try to change the fucking world. I'm going to try to unfuck the world, economically, socially, philosophically. Either you follow me, I don't give a fuck. I'm going. Fuck you. You can stay here and fight, or we can fucking band together. And I just started marching down Constitutional Avenue. It's against the law to do that on a Tuesday. We had no freaking permit to go down that freaking street. None. But via the cancer thesis, I had talked to the cops so much before. One of the cops goes, all right, he's hold off for 3 minutes, Kevin, 3 minutes. I'm like, why? He says, we believe in you. We're going to give you a police escort. They police escorted me as I led 5,000 people right down Constitution Avenue, right down the center during the week. Nobody does that. Because I got through them that I am fighting for them. I don't want them to get cancer. I don't want anybody that works at the NSA to get cancer. I don't want their children to get cancer. I explained to them, quit supporting the very people that quit being an Uncle Tom. Stop it. Stop it. Break from within. And we marched down there. And we galvanized and put together. And the cops gave us so many. We had the anarchist kids clawing on the fence, burning flags, throwing them onto the. They're not going to put up. They had the horses in there. They had the guns in there. Finally, they gave them 16 warnings. They usually only give 3. Because of me and my talking to them. Because of John Anthony Fairhurst, they got it. He's half African American, John Anthony Fairhurst. He's a quarter Cherokee Indian. He gets it. The guy gets it. Steve Grant, these guys get it. Megan Rice gets it. Pussy Riot gets it. Femin gets it. Plowshares gets it. Our small, teeny groups, we get it. Post-ignorance, my thesis, I throw a blanket all over the people who get it. We get it. We don't want a feudal system. We understand that Putin and Obama and Hillary and Bush and all of them are on the same team. We understand that. We understand they are the Queen's puppets. We understand this is a feudal system. New World Order? Hell no. Those guys deflect your energy and take it from you. Foxconn? They stand you. You've been had. I understand the energy of being angry. Absolutely. I understand all of you. But I don't understand going to a gun range with a Glock and shooting a target. How that does anything. I don't understand how you can shoot an isotope out of a frequent. I understand the Second Amendment. I absolutely support it. I support them all, but I support all the amendments, all 27 of them. The Constitution has been amended 18 times. Now, I used to get into this in my class. Just a trick question, 18 times. Because the first time it was one swipe. The first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10th were done with one swipe. What came before that Bill of Rights? Oh, the Tariff Act of 1789. Because it's the only way we do to protect ourselves morally. Herb Beecher Stew, none of this. Alexander Hamilton freaking grew up in the Caribbean. He watched the slave trade. His father abandoned him, Scottish royalty. Oh yeah, he watched him and his mother suffer. He read Greek tragedies over and he became Greek tragedy. But he understood. As him and Hamilton would fight, as Jefferson would fight, he looked at Thomas Jefferson one day and he says, Thomas Jefferson was a slave owner. Inherited wealth, but he was a good man, a very good man. He changed. Hamilton changed him so much. They grew to love each other. They fought like cats and dogs, but they were pragmatic. He says, Thomas, it's naive to think that our shores will not be attacked for our vast natural resources at some point. We must have a military. We must have a central bank. Has it been captured and hijacked? Absolutely. So the people say, I'll get rid of the EPA. Get rid of it all. Throw the baby out with the bathwater. Simple solution to all of it. The corrupt fuckers who robbed us, simply put one of them in jail. First one that goes on trial, on fucking Capitol hearings, and is put in handcuffs and is perk walked. And is put into a jail cell for the crimes that they have committed. Polson. High treason. High treason. The cover-up of Fukushima, it's all high treason at the highest level. On both parties. Democrat, Republicans captured. The Department of Monsanto, Department of Agriculture, the Department of Goldman Sachs, the Department of the Treasury. Every single one has been captured. Universities have been captured. And why? Because the American populace plays ball. The shirtwaist fire. Now you think about it. You look at the clothes, get the tags. My clothes don't have those tags on. My shirts that we have made the post-ignorance part, they're made by freaking well-paid sewers and cotton fields right here in the United States. You're willing. You know how many shirtwaist fires have been in Bangladesh just in the last year? The last one killed 1,300 people. The whole building collapsed. They're slaves. They're slaves. Foxconn, Apple Computer, Steve Chinese Jobs. They have $200 billion in cash parked offshore. They don't employ anybody. They surely don't pay any taxes here. They're slave owners. They're slave owners. It's like the industrialists in the North enslaving children in the steel mills of Pittsburgh. The Southern slave owners. Because they become completely immoral. But those kids grew up. Those little boys that were freaking, and those slaves in the South, they grew up. Those little children grew up to be men. And they fought back. I've said it for years. Why are you always good to the children? And why you always love? I coached youth sports here for decades. And when I got sick, it's pretty ironic. My daughter did a fundraiser, and everybody who came to my aid donated to a fundraiser. Nearly every single person was my daughter's friends. They're the ones that rallied around me and kept me alive. I had to fork over every dime I had to get in that hospital. I was broke, penniless. Because I had been so good to them as children, because they grow up to be men and women. They understood that. They fought back. Tariffs are the answer. So every single one of you in the whole country, I don't care. I really don't care. People take it back to me. I don't care. I'm fighting for my life. I'm fighting for my children's life. I'm fighting for my family. You know, Audie Murphy, that's what he said. Oh, do you want to wrap me up in a flag? You want to pin all these medals? Let's fight for my family's farm. Fuck your flag. I'm disgusted with the fucking United States on fucking to the 10th power right now. Who are we? Who are we? Slave owners. Slave fucking owners. The shirtwaist fire in Bangladesh happens It happens in China every day. The execution of fucking women in China. You know how many women are executed a day for simply having some marijuana or simply anything or just doing nothing? They need body parts for young people. It's obscene what we have turned into in this country, morally. I'm not talking sexually. I'm talking about human rights. Pussy Riot are human rights activists. Megan Rice is a human rights activist. Megan Rice, you don't think she could pick anything. She's a socioeconomist. She was raised by the greatest human rights activists in the history of this country, Dorothy Day. Madeline Rice, I knew her mom personally. Oh, her dad taught right there in the same building, the shirtwaist fire. You don't think that influenced him? That influenced an entire generation. That influenced the entire city of New York City. But we forgot. Because we were aghast when those girls smacked dead on the freaking sidewalk. Well, the young girls now, they're just those Asian girls. They don't fucking matter. They don't count. They're not humans. We can exploit a brown people from the South, pay them cash. It's not the exploited's fault. It's the exploiter. NAFTA. What did NAFTA do? It displaced 40 million farmers in Mexico. Del Monte moved in there. These people were selling a tomato for $1. Now Del Monte's selling it for 50 cents. They wiped out 40 million. They're hungry. We never had a fence. And you pay cash. You're fine with paying a guy cash to cook your food, to mow your lawn, to put fake stucco on your house, to put fake rock. I love it. I'm a rock mason? Really? And you're sticking on your house? Just like your freaking wife. Fake breasts, Botox, freaking fake lips. It's a facade. So soon the facade will burn. The 0% interest rate for 13 years. The Fed completely captured and hijacked by Anne Rand Greenspan. Anne Rand, yeah, she was a great writer. I love her books. But she never claimed to be an economist. She was a science fiction writer. She was a counterculturist. You know, like L. Ron Hubbard. Oh, the Scientologist thesis. Wow, you're going to really go for that. There's only simple answer, and it's always been simple answers. Economic, I can break every single problem in this country down to economics. I can break every single problem down to one thing, tariffs. This fight has gone on. We were the tariff nation. That's why we fought the Revolutionary War, the Tariff War, to block the East India Company. Walmart is the new East India Company. It's a philosophy between usury. Usury. Jesus Christ did not believe in usury. Our family did not believe in usury. This is a quintessential fight between good and evil, and you've all gone along with it because you're self-indulgent. You think it benefits you, and it does not benefit you. Yeah. You think in the internet, it's just like, oh, 0% interest rate stimulates the economy. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It destroys the economy, creates inflation. You know, Volcker knew this. Reagan recession, they raised the interest rate to 14%. It's called classical medicine. It worked. But we got rid of tariffs. Not only the tariffs morally, read the Tariff Act of 1789. What does it say right in there? To incentivize buying homemade goods and to pay off the debt. Not only that, it's a tax that can be collected from the corporations. They want to use slaves and bring it in? Well, they're going to pay a price to do that. And it's easily collected. It's collected at the ports. Alexander Hamilton had 80 employees. The pseudo-de facto son of George Washington had 2. All 8 employees of the Coast Guard collecting duties. The building's still right there by NYU. This is simple philosophy. Simple. And it goes clear back into nuclearism. It's a simple philosophy. Do you believe in usury? Do you believe in enslavement? Do you believe in human rights? Do you believe in other human beings treating them fairly no matter on their race, their socioeconomic status? Or do you believe that you're born into wealth and your bank account and your socioeconomic status defines who you are? That's what was believed in England. That's what was believed in cultures for thousands of years. And there were always these special people who freaking fought back. The United States of America, that beacon of light. Give us your tired, your weak, your huddled masses. Oh, we got it. There was nothing more quintessential American to hate the feudal system. Not now, we are the feudal system. Mission accomplished. Everything that America stood for, that beacon light of the tired, the weak, the born without wealth, we did not believe in inherited wealth. We believed that every single person had a chance. They were born no matter what. Not now. Not now. We are that system. Because we got rid of tariffs. We got rid of usury laws. We quit enforcing antitrust laws. Sinclair Oil, if you think about that evil bastard, Vanderbilt, his daughter broke ranks, by the way, and discovered Pollock. By the way, without Pollock and Warhol and de Kooning and Motherwell, oh, they got it. But remember, during the WPA, the government program hired artists. We believed in every person had the same equal chance. We don't believe that anymore. We have gone back as an individual. You're willing to buy clothes at Walmart. You're willing to, well, anywhere. Not even the highest fashion house to the lowest fashion house has all their stuff made in Bangladesh. You know how many girls have been killed in Bangladesh just in the last 2 years? Thousands, many thousands. It's shirtwaist fire 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0. But no one cares. And that's what I was doing. I was leading up my socioeconomic thesis, post-ignorance. That's because it's ignorance that causes this. That's post-ignorance. I was standing in Washington Square the winter of 2010, right there, all winter, in snowstorms, whatever. And I got to know the early people that started Occupy. I was involved with them. They wasn't called Occupy. No, they argued with me. I wanted to be post-ignorance. Then all of a sudden, 2 weeks before I was leading up to the Hannaford anniversary, I was going to do it. Right as I'm getting ready to go back to NYU, and, we're getting ready to do it there, boom, something happened. 3/11 Fukushima. They're like, Kevin, you've gone all in. You've gone Fukushima mad. That's all you talk about. And I said, yeah, because nothing else matters. It trumps it all. This is, Megan Rice knows that. Megan Rice. She takes on nuclearism. The word nuclearism, by the way, was coined by, I believe Megan Rice coined that word. One of the Plowshares group did it. She gets it. She's a brilliant genius. 84-year-old nun being tortured, allowed no due process. And by the way, the international media was this radio show. The only international media, there was local media there, and not even international, American media. Me. I was there at the hearing. Reported from this radio show live from there, just like I will from the Enola Gay hangar on the 3/11/11, just like I will on the anniversary at NYU, at Washington Square in Manhattan. I'll do it live from there, and I don't care if 15 people listen. Change starts with a very small group of people, strong people that have high intellects, but they have backs and they have ambitious and they're willing to work. That's what post-ignorance is. I've read the definition over and over and over and over. The American Revolution was started by 5 guys sitting around having a beer. Sam Adams. The Revolution was started by Sam Adams. They dressed up like Indians, threw that tea over there as a terror. They're not bringing in a harp. You're not pulling this shit. They were protectionists. Sam Adams was a protectionist. Alexander Hamilton a protectionist. Abraham Lincoln a protectionist. McKinley a protectionist. John Kennedy a protectionist. Bobby Kennedy a protectionist. Over and over and over. John Steinbeck a protectionist. Oh, what happened to all of them? It's hard to stand on the truth. It's hard to stand on one. You will be under attack. I've been under. You saw the emails when I was in jail. This connecting the dots creep is so radical, mentally ill. He went after me, sent me emails while I was in critical condition. You're going to die soon because you took chemo. Wow. This is what we're up against. Chris Busby went after me when I was in there. I mean, over and over and over. I mean, I don't attack anyone unless they attack me first. He who cast the first stone. I'm a very cordial person. I'm very well spoken. I was a, incredible professor at my time, but them days are over. Academia's been captured just like everything else because we don't get it. We're immoral to the core. We don't care about other humans. Did the Iraq War do a lot of? Absolutely, of course it did. I mean, we looked at it and just. Are we on, Jimmy?
Yes, sir. You're still live. Go. Got about 2 minutes left.
Yeah, we're immoral. We don't care. So I will stand at Washington Square in symphony with the shirtwaist fires, and I'll remember them, and I go to their graves. And I wrote a great poem. It's called 19. I'll tag it. And I even shaped the shape of their tombstone. I'm the one that led the restoration of Alexander Hamilton's grave. It was in disarray. The restoration of the Shirtwaist Girls Memorial. I ranted and raved about that for years. How do you let that go to shit? No, I'm not going to buy cheap slave-owned goods from Walmart. From anyone. I'll buy refuse. You say you can't do it. Yes, you can. Thrift stores are huge across this country, and you can have good stuff. These shirts that we made, the Post-Ignorance Project, yeah. Look at the tags on those. I don't wear anything made by slaves. I don't participate because I love other people. I'm about human rights. I don't care what your color of your skin is. I don't give a damn about your idealistic idealism. We are all equal. We are all we. We are all together. We are all God's children. Every last single one of us are God's children. Every last single one of us. No matter how sick we are, no matter how ugly we are, no matter how small we are, no matter how rich we are. You're not rich. Wealth is not money. Wealth is integrity. I've learned that through this cancer fight. Yeah, I had a lot of money. I'm very poor now, but I don't care. Wealth is not money. And if you don't give a damn about enslaving a person and letting them be killed at a Walmart factory and going in there, then go for it. May God have mercy on your soul, and life is a test. And I'm truly a believer that the mass already failed. And I don't think there's a retake on the test. We'll see where our souls go, I guess, when we all die. But to sit and say, oh, God, because I say that God says, I say, oh, it's actions mean nothing. It's just your words. That's what religion is. That's what religion is in here. That's what religion is here. It's generational arrogance. Do as I say, not as I do. No. It's action. See you 3/11/11 live in the Enola Gay Hangar. See it NYU live.
God bless you, Kevin Blanch.
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy. Stand tuned. Let's keep fighting. Come on, don't give up, none of you. We know who our little army is. Let's broaden our masses. Stand tuned.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all